America's pastime is officially coming back. The MLB players and owners have agreed to a 60-game regular season which starts July 23rd. The MLB will play without any fans to begin with and use a series of new rules to keep its players safe from the coronavirus. But this is a great thing for the sporting world. A lockout benefits no one, and baseball has the potential to attract many new fans during these troubling times. I personally can't wait to see what the NL East looks like this year with the Braves, Phillies, and Nationals all competing for the division title, as well as Mike Trout finally getting the help he deserves with Shohei Ohtani and Anthony Rendon on the Angels. But it's going to be great for sports, great for baseball. Can't wait to see the season. I'll be watching quite a few games. Do you have anything you're looking forward to, Tristan?
Overall, I think it's great that the MLB is finally coming back. My one gripe with them is that it wasn't sooner. Their owners are incompetent. Their commissioners are incompetent. They could have been on TV before anyone else. If you think about it, when it comes to dealing with the coronavirus and different restrictions that the governments are levying, that health experts are suggesting, the amount of contact needed in baseball is basically zero. The only time they need to make contact with each other is during tags on bases, and that's it. In the dugout, in the outfield, they could have limited that. That could have been gone. But because the billionaires are greedy, the billionaire owners, the commissioner is relatively incompetent, saying baseball's coming back and then saying it's not, that didn't happen. They're getting their way with the 60-game abridged season. Overall, I think that even though I have that opinion on the owners and the commissioner, I think the 60-game season is really going to help out. It's going to give it a playoff atmosphere. Aaron Judge is hopefully going to be healthy for the whole time. He'll be hitting dingers the whole time. You won't have superstars hopefully out for as long as stretches. They won't be sitting down resting. There won't be new lineups every day. You'll get to watch the popular players game in and game out, and I think that'll be great for baseball.
Will you actually be watching games this year, Tristan, or will you be going with the YouTube highlights?
I think I'll be watching games. It depends on how the schedule turns out.
You got to sandwich in that little 6-day window before the NBA starts.
I mean, it depends on, because I'm going to be back at school, August 10th, and all my classes are going to be online, so it's going to be, don't even get me started on that. But I'm excited.
Going back to school and still having online classes. Do better, King.
I know.
But with the good comes the bad.
Yeah.
There are several new rule changes, which we are going to talk about MLB has put in place. Most of these are either unenforceable or terrible. And I'll start with the most egregious one, the one which drives me nuts, which is so counterintuitive to baseball, in my opinion. If a game goes to extra innings, the batter preceding the one who leads off the inning will be placed on second base. And for casual fans, that may sound normal to you. That might not sound like that big a deal. But there are three real gripes I have with this. One, a single can win you a game in extra innings, which doesn't feel right. Two, this gives you the ability to walk someone, and I'll give you an example of this. Mike Trout and Anthony Rendon are on the same team. Mike Trout generally bats second. He is on second base now. Normally, if it was just Anthony Rendon, bases are empty, Anthony Rendon gets pitched to. You have to pitch to him. You don't want to intentionally walk him. But if you intentionally walk him, you have guys on first and second, which creates a greater chance for double plays and a greater chance to end the games faster, as well as a greater chance to end the games faster for the the offensive side of this. This is done in an attempt to speed the game up. I don't think they should be trying to do this. The pace of play is already going to be faster. We don't need to do this extra stuff. My third gripe with it, something like this has never been done in the MLB level before. It's been done in the minor leagues where the games don't matter, but in a 60-game regular season, every game matters. And this just feels counterintuitive to that.
I think it's actually good. The reason they're doing it is to ensure that in 20-inning wars, 16 innings, or games in which the starting pitcher only goes 3 innings because he just stinks it up, they're doing it for that reason, so you don't have position pitchers playing late in the game. There's only a 8-game season, so you need to protect your players. You can't have players playing forever. There's only 60 games. Like you said, every game matters, so it's important to also protect them at the same time. I think it'll help baseball. It'll speed up the end of the game. People that are more casual fans that have nothing else to watch, they'd be like, oh, extra innings is happening now. I don't need to sit here for the next 4 hours, hopefully. There's someone might actually definitely score this inning because there's a guy on base. So overall, I think it's actually a good thing for baseball. I don't necessarily think it should be something that comes back. It depends on how it turns out.
Are you high? Can
No,
I
you're
get some of
high.
the stuff you're on? First off, I'll address this. Position players coming into pitch happens when the score is 18-1. You don't see that in extra innings. The bullpens are deep enough. They're allowed to carry 50 men on their rosters, and I guarantee you a lot of that is going to be pitching. They will be just fine going in their bullpen without bringing their catcher to come pitch for them. That's a crazy take.
It's
also,
not. I mean, that's part of the reason they've stated. I'm pretty sure
it's a 60-game regular season. It's 100 games less than the actual regular season. Like, players aren't going to be more rested because the games end quicker. They're going to be more rested because there's 100 less games.
Yeah, but you don't need play. I'm assuming the games are going to be closer together. I mean, they haven't came out with a schedule yet, so they're probably going to be playing games in quicker succession.
They will not be playing the extent. They still are going to play series, Tristan.
No, I know that, but it's probably not when there's longer breaks in between games. I'm assuming those
series
breaks are going to be
happen
shorter.
back-to-back days. Like,
I know that.
Still
I'm saying when they go to a different
travel.
city and play different teams.
I think you're crazy on that. People who understand and like baseball don't like that rule. But
everything I think is going to be sped up, and I don't think it's necessarily the worst thing when you're going to have more eyes on the sport.
The game being sped up, fine. I'm very happy with that. I think that is beneficial to baseball. These new rule changes will speed up baseball, but that rule is terrible. The game will be faster without that being in place.
I mean, how many times is this rule actually going to matter, though?
Probably a good deal. Every time a game goes to extra innings, it's going to matter, and every game matters a little bit more, and there are only 60 games.
But it's equal across the board, though. I mean, everyone gets a runner on second.
Okay, but again, I gave you a very specific example. When teams are near the top of their lineup, you can just not pitch to the best player. That's boring. That's not exciting. I want to see Bryce Harper take a baseball and send it into orbit, but if they're going to be able to intentionally walk him, I'm going to be disappointed as a fan.
I mean, 9 out of 10 times, Bryce Harper may miss because of his batting average, but, you know.
Would you like to look at his stats and his OPS? Bryce Harper winds up on base a lot.
I guess so.
We're going to move away from that a little bit. Some of the unenforceable rules.
Let us know what you true baseball fans think of that rule.
Yeah, all two of you. A few unenforceable rules. Pitchers are not allowed to lick their fingers, and they will be forced to bring the little bag out to the mound, their own individual ones.
They can be suspended for it, too.
They can be suspended. This one, in theory, is great, but then you look at guys who have that built into their motion where they lick their fingers to get better traction on the ball, and they've been doing it for years. Do you suspend that guy who accidentally does it 2 or 3 times in the game? No. And it's unenforceable.
And imagine they throw him out of the game and then they lose the game because their pitcher got thrown out for licking the ball.
That seems incredibly stupid to me. Another one, which is this one's up in the air. You cannot come within 6 feet of an official to argue a call. So that's making me think if a batter gets a bad call, should have been ball 4, ends up being strike 3. If he turns around and argues with the umpire, is he automatically ejected? Because he was already within 6 feet, but he's within 6 feet having the argument.
Yeah, I mean, I think the rule is ridiculous. Half the time baseball goes viral, it's because of an altercation between a player, umpire. If a player gets upset, whatever happens between official, umpire.
When baseball goes viral, it's because someone hits a moonshot, not because someone argues with the umpire. If that's the focus of your sport, then you're doing something wrong with your sport.
Half the time they go viral, it's because of umpire. And I'm not saying it should ever be the focus, but they're taking that away. I mean, it may create a viral moment where you have someone turn around and they're immediately ejected and is suspended for 5 games.
Also, saying viral moment at times like this is incredibly poor phrasing.
What do you want me to call it? Internet sensation?
Different word than viral.
Come up with a word, Isaiah, you with your very big and smooth brain.
Spitting is also prohibited, but chewing gum is allowed, which means you can't have sunflower seeds, but you can have a lip packed full of bubble gum. And I think there's going to be some nicotine relapses on the field because guys can't pack their fat lip in there and you just chew as much as they want. That might be a problem for some people. That's unenforceable. And you're not allowed to socialize with the opposing team.
Well, it's enforceable. It just comes down to if they actually want to enforce it.
Yeah. It's kind of the same way where technically in some places it's enforceable to give people fines for wearing masks, but sheriffs won't enforce it. But that's getting abroad afield.
What do you think of the MLB taking away moments such as with the universal designated hitter? They're taking away the ability for someone like Bartolo Colon to hit a home run, Clayton Kershaw to hit a home run. They've taken that away from us. What do you think about that?
It's a little bit disappointing. It'd be worse, but Bartolo Colon's no longer in the league, so I can live with it. I will say Jacob deGrom has a meaningful case to be his team's designated hitter because he bats like 200 and has a fairly decent slugging percentage for someone batting ninth. So I don't know. Maybe you slide DeGrom in there and he's the only pitcher who gets to swing a bat. That'd be pretty entertaining.
It feels like you'd want someone better than a 200 average as your a 189 average as your designated hitter.
I mean, they're batting ninth in your order, probably.
Not as there's a lot of teams with good designated hitters that aren't batting ninth.
Yeah, well, it's the New York Mets. They're not a good team, and they don't have good hitters.
Who do you think is going to the World Series with this abridged season?
That has been our thoughts on the MLB coming back. I'm sorry if we sound uninformed. He is. I'm a little bit less, but let us know what you think down in the comments below, and we will see you later.